Welcome to Hero Villains. Who do you think will win? Storm. V. The goddess of storms faces the god of thunder. Storm, real name Ororo Munroe, is one of the most powerful mutants of the X-Men. Born with the ability to control weather on a planetary scale, she is not only a warrior, but also a symbol of natural balance. Storm can summon lightning, create raging storms, freeze the air, or tear the sky apart through sheer willpower. When she reaches a state of absolute emotional control, her power becomes purer and more destructive than ever, enough to make even divine beings act with caution. Thor Odinson, the god of thunder of Asgard, is the embodiment of divine power and war. As the son of Odin, Thor possesses a physique far beyond any mortal being, with strength capable of leveling mountains. With Mjolnir or Stormbreaker in hand, he commands thunder on a cosmic scale, opens spatial gateways, and confronts annihilating forces such as the Celestials or Thanos. Thor is not only powerful, but also a battle-hardened warrior forged through thousands of years of warfare. Before we dive deeper into the analysis, please press the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Ororo Munroe was born from a remarkable union between Ender, a Kenyan princess with a rebellious spirit, and David Munroe, a compassionate American photographer. She was born in Harlem, New York. But less than half a year later, her family moved to Cairo, Egypt. This place became the first brutal turning point in Ororo life. A catastrophic accident occurred when an airplane crashed directly into their home, claiming the lives of both her parents. Ororo survived but was buried beneath the rubble, carrying that trauma with her ever since. Becoming an orphan in a foreign city, Ororo wandered the streets of Cairo, learning pickpocketing and theft simply to survive day by day. Those harsh years forged in her an unbreakable survival instinct and razor-sharp combat awareness. Destiny truly called Ororo when she confronted and defeated Deluge, a weather-manipulating foe, thereby awakening her latent mutant power. Professor Charles Xavier sought her out and invited her to join the new X-Men team to rescue members trapped on Krakoa. Ororo accepted, took the name Storm, and stepped onto an entirely new path. With her vast weather-controlling abilities, Storm quickly became a cornerstone of the X-Men. She is a true Omega-level mutant, both a warrior and a calm, wise leader. Storm power also carries a mystical aspect, rooted in an ancient sorceress lineage, which once led people to worship her as a goddess. Storm is regarded as one of the most powerful mutants on the planet, an entity capable of making the very sky bow before her will. She does not merely control the weather, but exists in deep harmony between her mind and the laws of the atmosphere. Storm senses every current of air, every microscopic movement of moisture and electric charge. She can directly manipulate ambient temperature, bend humidity, and control precipitation in all forms, from gentle rain to brutal blizzards. Atmospheric pressure in Storm hands becomes a terrifyingly precise tool, allowing her to summon tornadoes, violent thunderstorms, raging winds, dense fog, or disperse everything to restore clear skies. On a more refined level, Storm manipulates electromagnetic phenomena, calling lightning from the deepest cloud layers, releasing electrical explosions through her own body, and instantly freezing people and objects. Storm power has extended even to alien ecosystems, where she still controls unfamiliar climates as if they were her homeland. She can condense pollutants in the air into acid rain or toxic fog, turning the environment itself into a deadly weapon. Storm commands powerful wind currents to lift her body, soaring into the sky at astonishing heights and speeds. When Storm spreads her wings across the heavens, she is not merely a mutant, but a living embodiment of the fury and majestic beauty of nature. Beyond ruling the skies, Storm possesses subtle abilities that blur the line between science and mysticism. By controlling moisture and mist in the air, she can bend light around her body, creating a state of partial transparency, nearly vanishing before her enemy's eyes, turning Storm into a ghost within nature, appearing and disappearing with the breath of the wind. She has demonstrated influence over solar winds, massive ocean currents, and the electromagnetic energy enveloping the planet. Through electrolysis that separates water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen, Storm can breathe underwater and adapt to environments where humans cannot survive. Even in outer space, her will reaches into the void between the stars, where Storm can manipulate the cold and silent cosmic environment. She once sensed a withering tree within the grounds of the X Mansion and can detect the presence of objects across multiple atmospheric conditions, including underwater. Storm can feel the instability of a storm forming in the northern hemisphere, perceive the gravitational pressures affecting tides caused by the moon and the sun, as well as subtle distortions in the planetary magnetosphere. She can pinpoint her exact location simply by listening to the rhythm of nature. In a single moment, Storm can perceive the world from an entirely different perspective. Before her, reality is no longer shapes or colors, but living streams of energy in constant motion. She can see the human nervous system as delicate lines of light, allowing her to predict attack trajectories and react almost instantly. Most ambushes are neutralized before they can reach her. Combined with refined close combat skills, Storm becomes an opponent any enemy must fear. Storm is also a highly trained physical combatant. She fights bare-handed with formidable force, wields knives with lethal precision, and is proficient with the bow staff through years of rigorous training. Her swordsmanship was honed by the finest warriors of Wakanda, while her sharp marksmanship came from brutal training alongside James Howlett, known as Wolverine. In addition, Storm is an exceptional pilot, a brilliant tactician, and a resolute leader, calm enough to guide her allies through the most chaotic moments. When bearing the title Goddess of Thunder, Storm once wielded Stormcaster, the legendary hammer forged by Eitri. This weapon responds to her will, streaking forward like lightning and always returning to its master hand. Simply by controlling the airflow around her, she can force an entire group of Wakandan soldiers into suffocation, leaving them helpless before they can even resist. In another battle, Storm simultaneously summoned multiple bolts of lightning, guiding them with absolute precision to strike directly at Selene creatures, severing the monster head in an instant. Storm's ability to manipulate air pressure reaches an extremely refined level, allowing her to turn the atmosphere around herself into an invisible defensive barrier that easily deflects icy attacks from Iceman. Her reflexes are so fast that she can still counter laser blasts while simultaneously unleashing barrages of lightning from multiple directions. As a master of energy manipulation, Storm once overwhelmed Vulcan in a battle of wills, gaining control over part of his body. When Storm Fury is unleashed, it can drown entire worlds. She summoned a colossal tsunami combined with thunderous rain, sweeping away Cassandra Nova along with the island of Genosha in fire and water. When Null arrived with his army of symbiote dragons, Storm still stood her ground, single-handedly opposing the entire Dark Legion. At times, the lightning she created was so powerful that the sky itself seemed torn apart, blasting away Avengers members including Scarlet Witch, Thor, Vision, and Iron Man. On an even greater scale, Storm can alter an entire planetary atmosphere with massive wind currents, affirming her status as a force of nature. I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel. It helps us tremendously, and you are absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Now, let us talk about Thor. Thor was born of the bloodline of supreme gods, the son of Odin Borson, the majestic king of Asgard, and Gaia, the embodiment of the ancient earth itself. From early childhood, he was raised within the golden halls of Asgard, shaped directly by Odin to become a worthy successor. Alongside his stern father, Thor also had Frigga, a gentle and wise stepmother, and Loki, his adopted brother, who was both close and deeply conflicted. Thor's youth was shared with loyal companions such as Sif, Balder, and the three valiant warriors, who stood beside him through both glory and peril. To prove himself, Thor relentlessly threw himself into harsh trials, facing dangers that seemed impossible to overcome. This journey forged him into one worthy of Mjolnir, the hammer forged from Uru, a weapon that bows only to those with a noble soul. With this new power, Thor rescued Sif from the grasp of Hela, the goddess of death, thereby affirming his place among the gods of Asgard. During his maturation, fate carried Thor through a mysterious gateway to confront the demigod Hercules. The battle between two beings of equal strength raged until Zeus was forced to intervene, returning Thor to Asgard and erasing the memories of both warriors to prevent further catastrophe. In the 9th century, Thor descended to Earth and became a symbol of war for the Vikings, leading them through countless bloody battles. However, upon witnessing his devoted followers attacking a Christian monastery, Thor realized the fragile line between glory and brutality. Thor is regarded as the pillar of strength of the Avengers, a warrior who in most battles must restrain himself to avoid unnecessary death, exercising a level of control even stricter than Spider-Man. This alone demonstrates how dangerous Thor's true power would be if fully unleashed. After the cataclysm of Ragnarok and the passing of Odin, Thor entered the most critical transformation of his life. He learned to master rune magic and inherited the Odin Force, the supreme power of his father. When these two forces merged as one, Thor named it Thor Force, marking a monumental evolution of his being. From that point onward, his power became nearly limitless, capable of continuously increasing through the absorption of lightning energy. Thor once bent Captain America's shield and restored it to its original form with perfect precision. He can lift an entire planet, knock Thanos away with a single punch, restrain the Hulk with one hand, and even nearly kill the Beyonder through sheer physical strength alone. Thor's speed is equally astonishing to every other Avenger. He moves far beyond superhuman limits, faster even than Quicksilver, striking Hyperion and Speed Demon simultaneously. Even beings capable of instantaneous teleportation or a Silver Surfer empowered by cosmic energy struggle to keep pace. When Thor truly enters battle, he is no longer merely an Avenger, but the living embodiment of unstoppable divine power. Thor possesses near absolute invulnerability, a warrior whom even annihilation itself struggles to touch. He can withstand mountain-shattering blows from the Hulk, endure the backlash of his own thunderous energy, and even be crushed by Galactus, yet still stand as though he had never fallen. In his confrontation with Gorr, Thor fought relentlessly for centuries without rest. His prolonged battle with Thanos also ended in a stalemate, demonstrating that Thor's endurance reaches mythic levels. Even when US Agent struck Thor with a punch, it was the attacker who paid the price with a broken hand lasting 6 weeks. Thor's regenerative ability is astonishingly fast, surpassing Wolverine by hundreds of times. He has miraculously recovered after being struck by annihilation rays, a form of energy capable of erasing even god-level entities. Thor's body regenerates from even the most severe injuries, wounds powerful enough to kill other gods. Even without wielding Stormbreaker or Mjolnir, Thor can still unleash thunder directly from his own body. He charges every muscle fiber with electricity, amplifies his punches with electrical energy, and hurls himself into the air like a living storm. The current Thor generates is even stronger than that of Power Man, powerful enough to tear the battlefield apart. He can call down colossal lightning storms, turning the sky into a downpour of fire and thunder, unleashing bolts said to surpass even those of Storm and Dracula. Thor can even teleport through lightning itself, appearing like a thunderclap across the battlefield and spreading the pure terror of an unconquerable god. Thor is not only the god of thunder. He can generate violent winds like raging tempests, blowing enemies from the battlefield in an instant. This power is said to rival the combined strength of Gladiator and Hyperion, and can even contend with the world-shaking roar of the Hulk. Thor's existence spans multiple dimensions. He can travel between different realities and imprison enemies within distant dimensions. With over 1,000 years of life and just as much time spent in relentless training, Thor has nearly reached the threshold of immortality. When the Odin Force flows through his veins, he manipulates multiple forms of energy to such an extent that a single glance can incinerate the being before him. Thor creates massive vortices, driving enemies back with impact force comparable to the unstoppable charge of the Juggernaut, and even calls down rains of fire from the heavens. When wielding rune magic, Thor's eyes emit a cold blue glow, signaling the awakening of ancient power. He is precise enough to defeat Loki without taking his life, yet strong enough to halt Juggernaut with a single hand. Thor once used magic to revert Red Hulk back into General Ross, shattered barriers between dimensions, and erased beings from existence. He has repeatedly defeated Mangog, felled Curse with a mere snap of his fingers, transported Beta Ray Bill across the far side of the galaxy, and still communicated with him through telepathy. Above all, Thor is not merely a warrior, but the living wrath of the gods. Although both Thor and Storm possess the ability to control the weather, Thor clearly holds superior power. Thor has a decisive advantage in nearly every other aspect, including strength, durability, endurance, and physical resilience. You understand what I mean. In confrontations of power between Thor and Storm, the balance usually tilts toward the god of thunder of Asgard. Thor embodies the nature of a true god, with overwhelming physical strength, near limitless durability, and thunderous power that reaches cosmic levels. In contrast, Storm is an extraordinary mutant, one who is in harmony with the atmosphere and commands the weather with rare finesse. She feels lightning, like the heartbeat of the sky, guiding it through will and profound understanding. Yet, the foundation of her power still carries the limits of a mutant. Thor commands thunder like a king, issuing orders to nature, while Storm manipulates it as a being in perfect resonance with the storm itself. This distinction creates two opposing styles, one defined by raw and absolute power, the other by precise and artistic mastery. It is a collision between ancient godly force and evolved will, between the Thunderhammer of Asgard and a living storm shaped in human form. Storm may not be as strong as Thor, but she makes every battle more violent and more beautiful, like a furious sky raging against a god who never bows. Thor's physical power, such as durability and speed, completely surpasses hers. Even if Storm could somehow injure him, which I believe is possible, although I do not know to what extent, Thor could still easily overwhelm her with speed in a direct confrontation and endure far more attacks than she can. In their comic book encounters, both have had moments of gaining the upper hand, but when viewed overall, Thor consistently holds a major advantage in raw strength and staying power. This is why he is often seen as the one who emerges from the battle in the posture of a victor. Thor wins 9 out of 10 times. I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Follow me if you like. That is today's video. Thank you very much.